Good evening and
We're
welcome
live
to
on.
the Compadre system. I'm Jake Berry alongside Clay Williams. It's a late night start for us. How you doing, Clay?
Doing great, Jake. How about yourself?
Living the dream every day. So,
Aren't we all?
so this is a slow week for us as far as high school football. We have one whole district that's not playing, and then we have a bunch of people trying to find games across this state. It's going to be interesting. Matt Stepp's actually going to be down here this week from Texas football. He's going to come down to Brownsville, I think, for one game.
Cool. That's
But
excellent.
but yeah, talk to
Um,
me. What's new?
well, let's see. What did we really get last week? We've got looks like unbeaten's 6 teams that are 3-0, and one team that's 2-0. That would be Harlingen because they didn't get to play this last week against Congress Judson.
Hmm.
So your 3-0 teams are Edinburgh Vella and Edinburgh out of the same district. La Jolla, the only other 6A team that's 3-0. And then you got to go down to 5A, Valley View 3-0, La Feria 3-0, and Rio Hondo
I
3-0.
forgot to put Valley View. I was trying to figure out who are our teams, and Valley View escaped me.
3-0. Coach Esquivel's team looking pretty good. That Javier Lopez kid is one of the best defensive backs in the Valley, definitely. He's averaging like an interception a game at least. And so those are your teams that have not lost yet. Your teams that have not won, well, just like Harlingen is 2-0 because they didn't play, Wesco is 0-2 because they didn't play as well. Their
You mean
game with
Wesco
Hannah
East?
Wesco East 0-2 because their game with Hannah got canceled. And then you've got 5 teams that are 0-3. Those would be your 6As. No, I'm sorry, only one 6A team, I guess, that's 0-3, and that's Edinburgh North.
Hmm.
And then PSJ Memorial and Ed Couch Elsa are 5A teams that are 0-3. And then you go down to Hidalgo, 4A team that's 0-3, and then down to La Villa, a 2A team that is 0-3.
And
So that's
Edinburgh North and we'll do this on Wednesday, but Edinburgh North and Economies, or sorry, Edinburgh North and Ed Couch are playing this week. So
yeah.
somebody's going to get a win.
Unless they pull a Cleveland-Pittsburgh thing and come out with a tie, but
That is
I
true.
don't think that's going to happen. Nah, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in high school. And meanwhile, we've got 3 teams on top of 16 5A Division I that have already won 2 games in their district. Mission Veterans, Brownsville Pace, and La Jolla Palmview are all 2-0 and on top of their district. So
And did you
those
think
3 teams. Go ahead.
Palmview was going to be 2-0 in district?
Not to start. No, I didn't. But then again, it's tough to tell with Palmview. They, historically, Palmview out of the La Jolla schools has always had usually the most raw talent anyway.
Yeah.
And then it looked like they went down a little bit, but now looks like they're at least back up. They lost their first game of the season, but have gone 2-0 since in district. So I would say that Mission Veterans is the best of the 3 that are up at 2-0, but I'm not sure which one's the best out of Brownsville Pace and La Jolla Palmview, which team might take second. Of course, still it's a long district season for those guys in 16 5A Division I. So you could have teams that are 0-2 come back and end up winning the district.
I didn't see that Brownsville Vets game going the way it did. I thought Brownsville Vets was a stronger team overall, but Mission played really well.
Yeah. Patriots came out and laid the smackdown early and got ahead. And Brownsville Veterans was having to play catch up the whole time. And that's not what they're best at. They're not a quick strike team. They're more of a 3 yards in a cloud of dust, grind you into a fine powder type team. They're a team that plays better when they're ahead. So when Mission Veterans got out ahead of them early, that was big for the Patriots and big for them to get a win. And, Palmview only beat Porter by 8. 35-27 was the final there. So, it's still tough to say what's going on in that district in 16-5A Division I.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Frank Gonzalez, you can whore yourself out on another page. Don't do it on ours. Frank Gonzalez wants to pub another show for somebody else. But, yeah.
Hold on one sec. Let me get back to my week 3 observations.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie, thanks for watching. You're over at Pioneer. So, not on the sideline this year. He's taking a step back for the year. He had a new child, so, better to have your priorities straight. So
there you go.
Happy wife, happy life. No, I'm actually surprised. Pioneer, bounced back. Bounce back.
Oh, that was a great game. That was one of the 2 best games of week 3, I thought.
Yeah.
But what about the Eagles defense? I mean, the Diamondbacks had it inside the 10 with a minute left. They get a touchdown and they win, basically. Under a minute to go inside the 10-yard line. The Mission defense had to come up huge, and they did. And, Mission getting it done. They're another one of our 3-0 teams. Did I mention them? I don't think I mentioned them.
I don't think you did, but yeah. It's impressive because, he's not coy. It isn't doing it the way you would have thought he would have done it, which is airing the ball out. And, he's sticking to a nice conservative run game with the pass. But, he's mixing it up. But he's staying traditional to the run.
Yeah, absolutely, and getting it done with defense as well. I mean, seriously, they only scored 21 points. So, keeping that defense able to keep Pioneer out of the end zone, and when they're in the red zone, there were a ton of people at that game, I can tell you, who thought that Pioneer was going to come back and win it, and for Mission to come up that big, I think that's a big test of a team that can probably get it done in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, definitely. My old stomping grounds, Edinburgh. I'm impressed. I'm impressed because they played well. Albeit one of the games was Rivera, but beating Waters Lincoln, playing tough. They played tough against Harlingen South, and you see how Harlingen South comes out and kicks the tail out of their last opponent. I don't want to say names because I might get in trouble at work, but they played really well.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the interesting thing, right, about Harlingen South is now they're coming off of 2 straight wins. They've beaten McAllen, they've beaten PSJ North, and now they're going to be traveling up to Weslaco. So we're going to see a lot about this Harlingen South team coming up this next week. That's going to be very interesting, I think. That'll be a great game to watch. But the Hawks were up 24-0 after the first quarter. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I've got. Yeah,
24-0, and shut them out. 38-0. Whoo, that's something to see.
Hey.
Obviously they're going to have trouble going up against Weslaco, another 3-0 team that's looking better than a lot of people thought they'd look. But that'll be a fun game to watch coming up on Friday, and I'll be doing that game. I'll be broadcasting that game as well.
This is my week off from broadcasting any games or doing any kind of broadcasting for the MISD, McAllen ISD. But I actually got to see Vela play this week. And I got to see them play against McAllen Memorial. I will say this. Edinburgh Vela is the best team in the Valley.
I've been telling you for weeks.
Yeah, you have been. But I don't think they're invincible. They're not Harlingen from a few years back with Randy Vermea and that group. They're not Harlingen South with Messick. They're they're not that they're beatable because you saw at one point when McAllen Memorial at the beginning of the third quarter gets 2 turnovers to start the quarter and they close the gap to within 2 points, 23-21 or something like that. And Vela then took control, but they're beatable. They're not invincible.
Well, they're beatable by a very they're beatable by an experienced senior laden team that executes perfectly. That's who could beat Vela.
Yeah,
Because Vela has more talent than anybody they've gone up against so far, and they'll have more talent again than anybody they'll play all year long. The thing is, a lot of that talent is young. Their quarterback, what? He's a sophomore. The guy who played the first time.
majority. Yeah,
That's the first time AJ's played a complete game at quarterback this year. They were still trading in quarterbacks. They were still running guys in and out, not sure who they want to start. And they were still beating teams by 20, 30, 40 points. That's insane that they're able to do that. Now that they're settled in at quarterback, shoot, they're going to be even better. Daniel Enriquez caught like 141 yards worth of catches for Vela. It was something to be seen. That was a fun game,
I will say this: I watched him play, and he had some of that invisible juice that you see in any given Sunday with Willie Beeman. You think he's locked in. The defense is locked in. They're going to make a play on him, and he skirts out of every missed tackle that you could possibly imagine. He gets positive yards after something that you think is going to be negative.
Yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't like McAllen Memorial didn't bring one of their best games. I mean, Ethan Bazan, 127 yards for him. Vela, obviously their defense was set to stop the run, stop Campbell Spates. They held him to 64 yards, and so good on McAllen Memorial to take what the defense gives you. Obviously, Sean Scoogan was able to pass for a lot more yards than McAllen Memorial usually does. But if you stop, the number one thing that McAllen Memorial does, you're going to keep them down, and kept them to only 21 points. Hey, a shout out to one of my defensive players of the week, though, for McAllen Memorial, Axel Hernandez. Axel Hernandez had a great game for the Mustangs. 3 sacks, 4 hurries of the quarterback, 1 tackle for a loss, and he caused a fumble. That guy was a mean machine out there. So shout out to him. Even in a loss, Axel Hernandez, one of my defensive players of the week. Meanwhile, how about San Benito and PSJA?
That was incredible because,
Well, yeah, it was another showing for San Benito that shows people that some of their most talented guys might have been gone from last year, but they've got guys that are coming up who are going to definitely The thing about San Benito is they're more than the sum of their parts. Dan Gomez has got a program set. People used to say about San Benito, well, they can't expand. They can't get any extra players. All they've got is from within, and it's not like other cities in the valley where they keep expanding north or they keep expanding south. San Benito's all hemmed in. Everything they've got is right in that city. But that also means that Dan Gomez has got control of all of the, 6th grade teams and the middle school teams and the freshman teams and the junior varsity teams. They're all funneling to one spot. It's not like they're going to 3 or 4 different high schools. He's got control all the way down. They're learning from the time they joined San Benito football exactly what they've got to do. And it's starting to really pay dividends. Shout out to Kyler Castilleja. Second straight game over 100 yards rushing, and second straight game with 2 touchdowns for San Benito. The Hounds are for real, man.
Though, you look at that area, though, you think San Benito's kind of landlocked as far as, they're only going to get the talent right there. But look at Rio Hondo, right next door, and Rio Hondo playing extremely well this year. I mean, there's a lot of talent in that area. Then you couple that with Los Fresnos being right there, Harlingen. There's a lot of meaty players in that area. And you go to Los Fresnos, and somehow they got giants every year on their offensive line.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely correct. Rio Hondo's quarterback, Josiah Ortega, was incredible. Rio Hondo beat St. Joseph 59-33. And what's interesting is Real Hondo and Rocky James have been known for their defense for a long time. Back when Gus Cavazos was there, kind of started that whole tradition. They've always had great defenses at Real Hondo. But what's really interesting is how Real Hondo's defense is getting better in the second half. They're allowing all the points they really allowed in their 3 games. They've allowed in the first half. Once the second half comes around, they clamp down, and they clamp down hard. They've only allowed 14 points total in 3 games in the second half. So that's 6 quarters, if I got my math right, and only 14 points. That's pretty salty. That's impressive.
Yeah, and I've had a chance to see a few of the really good teams. I know Weslaco East is a really good team. They're just trying to fill that hole. And I look at they had the canceled game last week, which I think only benefits them because it gives them more time to get everybody fresh and ready for they're almost into district play. And I think this is good for them, because they needed that extra week.
Yeah, no, I think they did too. It's too bad. I would have liked to have seen Hannah and Weslaco East play.
Oh, I know. It would have been a great game.
And it ended up being, not that much rain to talk about, especially, on the way there or at Weslaco. But, it's going to happen. The 3 games that got canceled were, of course, Converse Judson at Harlingen. You expect that one. They were scared. They didn't
want to come down.
No. And then Hannah at Weslaco East. And then Fremont at Santa Maria, which, 281 was flooded. So I can see that. I can definitely see that. So, yeah, those were the ones that were canceled. Interesting. You were talking about Edinburgh, and Bobcats got a big win. 22-13 over Juarez Lincoln. Big, one of my defensive players of the week for the Bobcats, Nate Salinas, the safety. 4 tackles, 3 assisted tackles, and caused a fumble. Congratulations to him. What I'm wondering, where was Harlan Benavides? Injured? He did not play in that game as far as I know. All the rushing yards for Edinburgh came from Eric Cano, who rushed for 184 yards. It got a touchdown reception, 18 yards as well. So I'm not sure what's happening there with Bobcats. We'll have to find out this week what's going on with Harlan Benavides.
Well, I'll find out. I'll call in the morning. I'll talk to Oscar Campos, the offensive coordinator, and find out. But
there you go.
That really tells you something, though. If they don't have him and they're still rolling, that team is more than what meets the eye. The eye test, because we knew that they were going to be good. We just
we talked about it last week. How good their backfield is with Matt Cruz and at quarterback and Harlan and Cano and they've got that line coming back that's so good. No, Edinburgh's really good. And staying in Edinburgh, what about Economides, man? This is Wrecking Crew stuff. This is like big time defense stuff. That's 3 games, 2 of which are shutouts, and they've only let up 7 points this entire season. That's starting to get to like record levels for a defense. I mean, they're not scoring anything. They've only scored 19 points this year, but they've only let up 7, and that's really, really impressive to me. Those Economides linebackers are for real, and they're definitely gonna be something to be dealt with once district play starts.
And if you go to a game in Edinburgh, you'll get to hear the same line called for their defense all year, and it'll probably go something to the effect of the Orange Crush.
Is that what they're calling them?
Well, no, that's what I don't think they want to be called that, but that's what they've been called by their PA announcer for like the last 20 years. Like I was there, it's Orange Crush, the Gold Rush for Edinburgh North, and the Ministers of Defense for Edinburgh. I don't even know what Bella's called. They probably just take from everybody else's name. But I'm kidding, Bella. But no, I'm impressed. I mean, that district's going to be tough. Weslaco's, tough. I cannot wait for the Weslaco Bella game. because just everything that's going to be built into that. I think that'll be incredible. But that district's looking better than what I thought because I thought it didn't look tough
No,
on
not at
paper.
first. Not we. Yeah, on paper we thought maybe it was going to be not quite as tough, but it's definitely starting to be tougher than we thought. Let's see. What was I looking at? Oh yeah, Los Fresnos beating up on Ed Cauchelsa. This one was Ed Cauchelsa's home opener at the Black Hole at Benny Layton Senior Memorial Stadium, and they got beat up on pretty hard. 42-13 was your final. The Falcons outscored the Yellow Jackets 28-0 in the second quarter. And that's all she wrote. That's all you need right there.
Yeah.
28-0 in the second quarter. You do that, and you're going to win 90% of your games.
And
so
here's the kicker. Sorry, people are requesting the magazine. We'll get to the magazine in a little bit. Ed Couch is scoring, but they're scoring. They scored in the last two games, but they're scoring late. And you're looking at I believe it's over 140 points to 20 right now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get easier for them at all. I mean, Edinburgh North is down also, and this might be a winnable game, but size-wise, speed-wise, Edinburgh North still got that. And Ed Couch they've got to put I think a better effort than what they have the last 3 weeks if you're going to beat Edinburgh North. I mean, Edinburgh North is beatable compared to the three teams that you played before this, but it's going to be a tough go this week too.
Yeah. Meanwhile, who's going to win? Los Fresnos is looking just as salty as Brownsville Hannah,
and they're going to play
which is looking just as salty as San Benito. Which now all of a sudden Harlingen South is looking good, and Harlingen is looking good. So now all of a sudden we're looking at a team that right now has a winning record is not going to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
One of those teams is not going to make the playoffs. Los Fresno, San Benito, Brownsville, Hannah, Harlingen South, Harlingen. One of those teams is not going to make the playoffs. And that's going to be really interesting to see how that goes down the line. Los Fresnos is really impressive, and the teams they've played in this non-district schedule have really helped them be good. A couple more of my defensive players of the week for Los Fresnos. The big guys on the line, Lorenzo Villarreal and Lane Tomei. They combined for 6 solo tackles, 14 assists, and they each had 2 sacks. So they were getting it done on that defensive line, getting after Ed Cauchelsa. So congratulations to that pair of big Falcons on the line.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. No,
go ahead.
No, hey, I know we're not doing predictions or anything like that, but I mean, talk about this game this week with Los Fresnos playing Bella.
Oh no, that's gonna be a great test for Port Isabel, and Port Isabel for Los Fresnos. Going the wrong way down 100, and Los Fresnos will use it to get better again, just like they used the Montwood game, just like they used the Austin LBJ game, just like they used this Ed Cauchelsa game. That being said, I still think Vela's going to win because I think they've got more talent, and I think that it's only getting better each week. So if you're going to have me do an early prediction, I'm going to say Vela beats Los Fresnos. How come you tried to go ahead?
Oh, no, how come I what?
How come you tried to convince me that Mercedes was going to beat LaFeria last week? That was you. I was picking LaFeria, and all of a sudden you went off on this thing and said, "No, I think Mercedes is going to win it."
I guess,
man. I'm not going to doubt LaFeria. LaFeria's not going to lose another game.
I guess I did get to meet that Darius Hernandez the other day.
Yeah.
And that kid's something special. I mean, size-wise, especially for when you're under 5A, and you're that size, sky's the limit.
Yeah, that's he's huge. He's great. Both of the Hernandez, Darius and Dorian, are excellent. LaFeria looks super, and that's my prediction right now: 10-0. LaFeria is not going to lose another game. If they were going to lose one, that was going to be it, or it was going to be the Raymondville game. It's not like they played easy teams. Yeah. I mean, they played Raymondville, who's really good. They went up a classification and played a 5A in Mercedes and shut them out 28-0. This LaFeria Lions team is for real, man. For real.
Yeah. Going back real quick to this Los Fresnos Vela thing. What I like about this matchup is this. Los Fresnos has size that Vela hasn't seen yet. Vela's not overly big. Even their line to me wasn't like huge.
True.
And I've seen them have some sizable lines. But Los Fresnos, they've got some girth there. So I want to see. I almost look at this as an early. We're foreshadowing their game against Westlake East probably later on in the season, when you're going to have a 4-quarter game where you're going to get, it's going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And I can see that with Los Fresnos. I can see them basically pounding the ball, try ball control with Vela, because if you give Vela too many chances to score, they're going to score. They've got too many weapons. I saw them first series of the game go over the top on Memorial to start the game out. Of course, Memorial comes back and does the same thing, but Vela, the weapons are there. I think ball control thing. I think that this is a great playoff style kind of game for them. For both teams.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. It's going to be a game that both teams will learn from, I think. Yeah. I think. Over by the Bay, Monty Stumbaugh returns to Port Isabel. And it didn't go too well for Monty's team, but it went well for Port Isabel. They get their first win of the year. 33-6 is the final. The Tarpons were up 26-0 at half, and that's all she wrote. That is all she wrote. And your offensive player of the week, for me, through all the games of week 3, is Port Isabel Junior running back Brian Medina. 19 carries, 270 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Brian Medina was toting that rock. That was impressive. 270 on 19 carries. That's pretty darn good, man.
That's just being selfish.
That's following your line, man. That's following your line.
Hey, speaking of
like that at home.
Speaking of defensive efforts, I do have to say this, and somebody put it on Facebook right now. Vela's defensive effort to keep Campbell Spates under 100 yards, it takes a lot to do that. It was impressive.
Yeah, and like I said, that was their focus, and they were willing to let Scoogin to Bazan, go all night long, and it did. And what Bazan came up with 141 yards receiving, but it didn't matter in the end. So, they said, we'll let McAllen Memorial pass the ball. As long as we stop Spates, we'll win, and they did. So, definitely right there. Oh, can we talk about the La Jolla Coyotes?
Okay, your top 10 list, by the way, and if you haven't got it, the 956 football preview I finally was able to pick it up last week. It's
you smuggled it. You smuggled it.
I smuggled it.
Yes. Customs, did you?
Yeah. I was like a mule. You don't want to know where it was at.
I don't want to know.
Anyways, I went and picked it up in Brownsville. Came in finally. Thank you for everybody that pre-ordered, that waited. But the magazine is 170 some pages of pure joy. It's the football Bible of the Valley. Clay wrote previews in it. Mark May wrote previews in it. Tony Leal put it together with me. We had some great photographers. Anyways,
excellent photography in that thing. It's definitely a collector's item.
And it's not cheap at all. It looks like a book. And Clay, I need to get yours to you. But having said that, you did your top 10 list, and you had both Edinburgh and La Jolla at 10 because you didn't like them. And but I don't think anybody had Edinburgh and La Jolla in the top 10 in the Valley. And except for you. And there's some really good guys out there like Nate and Gotiso and stuff like that. But you picked it. You put La Jolla and you put Edinburgh in the top 10. They're 3-0 right now. La Jolla is playing extremely well, and La Jolla is playing. Yeah, they played Sherryland last week, right?
Yeah, they beat Sherryland to a pulp, man. They beat Sherryland 31-7.
And I saw Sherryland play McAllen Memorial, and they looked like a really, really solid, good team. That was impressive.
Yeah. Hey, man, do not be surprised if La Jolla goes ahead and wins the whole district. They're good, man. And I mean, I'll go ahead and put it out there. Yeah, I picked La Jolla in at number 10, but I picked like Sharyland number 3. And so obviously I'm a little wrong on that. So I'll go admit where I'm wrong. But this La Jolla team is legit. They are great. Their defense is fantastic. And it was close, man. Well, think about how close it was. All right. So Coyotes are up 7-0 in the first quarter. All right. Sharyland gets this long drive, and they drive it down, and they drive it down, and they got 4th and goal on the 1. Sharyland does. 4th and goal on the 1. And they're going to tie the game, right? It's going to be tied, 7-7. Or they miss the extra point at 7-6. No. La Jolla stops them on 4th and goal on the 1, and then La Jolla goes and scores 24 unanswered points. Boom. And that's it. It's all over. Instead of being tied 7-7, now it's 31-0, all because of a goal line stance that La Jolla Coyotes defense put up there, man. Puro Coyote. Makes me want to hear the corrido, man. So they're incredible. They're great, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch La Jolla be good again, just like it was before there were 3 schools.
And I dropped off magazines on Sunday with Coach Farias. And, you talk about a guy you're playing well. Nobody expected it to be this well, this early. But,
yeah,
he was very humble. And, we talked for a little bit. His father, there's a story about his father in the magazine. But he is very humble. I mean, you just see it. And, you see his team. I watched one of the channels had a story about them. And the whole team, it's business as usual for them. And this is a team that had been up and down for a while, ever since the split. And you see them right now, and they look really poised.
Oh, yeah. They look poised. Their defense is incredible. Eddie Villarreal is one of the top 5 running backs in the entire Rio Grande Valley. The guy is a monster, and it's impressive. It's impressive what La Jolla is doing, and they're going to be something to be reckoned with.
And shout out real quick to Irma Gomez, who's watching right now. Thank you for watching. So,
hey there.
You and the rest of my relatives.
Yeah.
So,
let's see. It's already past midnight. Let's get through this quick.
Yeah.
Shout out to McAllen Rowe, big 27-6 win over Edinburgh North.
Playing very well ever since their Wesco game.
Yeah, they scored 4 touchdowns. You want to hear how they scored their 4 touchdowns, Rowe?
Mm-hmm.
1 passing, 1 rushing, 1 punt return, and 1 fumble return for a touchdown. 4 different ways. 4 different ways. That's variety, my friend. That's variety. And their senior wide receiver, Ruben Sines, 6 receptions, 92 yards. He was the offensive stud of the game there. Santa Rosa gets their first win of the year. Sugar Bowl. And thanks to their running back, Ryan Mesa, 10 carries, 140 yards. 10 carries, 140 yards. Let me do my math. That's 14 yards a carry. Every single time he carried the ball, they got a first down. Okay? That's pretty impressive. 2 touchdowns and a punt return touchdown for Ryan Mesa as Santa Rosa gets a big win for Coach Ayala and company. Good for them. Let's see. Congratulations to Mike Evans at PSJ Southwest. They break their 12-game losing streak. Javelinas get a win, 34-21 over Tri-City rival PSJ Memorial.
And they have been playing well. I mean, look, you lose a 7-0 game against Economides. Then you play Donna. They're no slouch. And I think you're going to see that towards the end of the season. I think you're going to see PSJ Southwest take some big strides. I think that the coaches that they have over there are doing a great job with that team, and it's only a matter of time.
Yep, absolutely. We talked about Valley View 3-0, 35-3 over Rivera. Brownsville Pace in what I think was one of the more impressive wins. And that's what I definitely picked Donna last week. I went 20-5 in my picks last week. 20 wins, 5 losses. Donna losing to Brownsville Pace was definitely one of the ones I got wrong. Congratulations to Coach Pardo and company over there. Because Pace over Donna, that's big. I thought Donna was going to be one of the teams on top of 16-5A Division I. Instead, it's the Vikings, and looking good. Willacy County Cotton Bowl, Raymondville 49, Lyford 0. Lyford's a good team. They're a
Yes.
3A team, and Raymondville's a 4A team, and that's a difference. Raymondville's really, really good. I told you that before the season started. Their quarterback, Jacob Posas, 234 yards and 3 touchdowns. So excellent job by him as well. LaGruya beats Donna North 34-3. Roma loses to Laredo Nixon 26-14. We talked about Brownsville veterans losing to Mission veterans. The Patriots putting up 45 points and looking very impressive doing it. We talked about Palmview and Porter. And congratulations to Rio Grande City. What a way to win, okay? What a way to win. So they're up 26-21 with 15 seconds remaining. Lopez has the ball on the Rio Grande City 8-yard line, right? So 15 seconds left. Lopez scores. It's game over, and Lopez wins. Instead, the Rio Grande City defense stiffened up and caused a fumble, winning the game. You always love it when your defense is out there winning the game for you, and that's exactly what happened for the Rattlers on Saturday. One of the 3 Saturday games. We weren't supposed to have any Saturday games, and we ended up with 3 of them.
Yeah, and that game actually surprised me because, Rio hadn't been playing their best football. La
No.
Jolla. I
Yep.
mean, granted, they did play La Jolla, and La Jolla is playing really well. So, it was kind of hard to gauge it, but man, they came out. I mean, they did lose to Roma also, but they came out and played really well.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely did. And one more shout out to Marine Military Academy. Coach Rick Medill getting a big 16-13 win over Monte Alto. Go Leathernecks. Always like to see when the Leathernecks do well. They won a state championship once upon a time. It was in a private school league, but they won it.
Yeah,
They did.
and
They did.
hold on one second. I'm going to actually throw in a picture if I can. Just for when we talk about the magazine right before we leave. But real quick, I do want to point this out. If you want to buy one of these magazines that Clay and Mark wrote, a lot of the previous 4, and it's not just that it's player Q&As, it's got the schedule. It's nostalgic. If you're a football player that is in this magazine, and there are a lot. I mean, Vela alone had 11 players on. They brought 11 players to the picture day. Edinburgh, I think, had about the same. There were a bunch. McAllen Memorial. Everything from Roma to Brownsville. We got pictures. There's only one team that didn't send anybody to the thing, but that's because they're still mad at us. But having said that, the magazine is very salty. I mean, there's a lot of info there. So, and you're playing teams. You want to know who the top players in the Valley are. It has that in there. I did want to throw this out there real quick, and it's I screwed up.
Oh, man. What'd you do? 956 Football Magazine. Yeah, a lot of hard work went into it. I mean, my writing is beside the point. The big stuff is the great photographs that are in there. You're going to want to have those around for a long, long time, I think. My mom actually does want a copy, though, for my writing, but she's the only one. So I need to get my copy and send it to her.
There's a picture of it right there. I'm trying to put it out there for everybody. But, the magazine's thick. I mean, you're talking about 170 pages. And a lot of the times you probably think that, it's pimped out with a bunch of ads and articles. No, we're so bad at selling ads that we just said, screw it. We're going to put together a kick butt magazine, and they'll be available. The information is here on the on our Facebook page. You can reach us. If you see us, just let us know too. We'll drive and bring the magazine to you. And we set up in Dairy Queens across the valley, and we'll put a list out on Wednesday morning on the places we'll be at, so you can pick one of these up. And we're talking about from Roma to Brownsville. And we cover everybody. Everybody got about 3 pages. If you buy a statewide magazine, you're going to get one little paragraph if you're lucky. Clay wrote and Mark wrote about half a page worth of content. So there, and it's good content, and we didn't sugarcoat anything. If your team was going to struggle this year, it might have said your team was going to struggle, but but we pointed out your key players. We talked about your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator. We talked about everything. So this magazine has everything you need.
Everything you could want to know about 956 football, but we're afraid to ask. Don't be afraid. Go get your copy.
Yeah, awesome. And you can actually probably sound, smart when you talk to your head coach.
There you go.
So, but we'll be back on Wednesday, and we'll be talking more football. We'll do our picks that day, and just because some jackass was trying to put another website on there, just realize this is Clay Williams that you're going to get picks from. He's a guru. I'm 100% for the year. So come back and watch us. We'll be back on Wednesday evening.
Sounds good. Thanks for watching the Compadre system, everybody. We'll see you in a couple of sleeps.
All right. Bye.